The man tasked with uncovering just who orchestrated the Russian collusion hoax perpetrated against President Trump is certainly taking his time, but it is clear now that John Durham's investigation is now moving quicker than ever before. The latest court filing reveals the Clinton campaign paid to illegally spy on candidate Trump and later President Trump. It is now becoming very clear there are many at the center of this political crime that need to be held accountable. So the question now becomes, who else knew about the Clinton campaign paying an IT firm to collect dirt on President Trump in an effort to tie him to Russia? This clearly illegal effort reached deep into protected White House communications. The espionage amounts to an attempted coup. Hillary Clinton's team tried desperately to frame a sitting president for colluding with Russia, with the sole goal to oust him. The Durham filings show high-level Democrat Party and Clinton campaign attorneys knew of the illegal cyber crimes. But who else knew? Looking back at statements from the Democrats, most outspoken critics of President Trump, it leads me to believe California Congressman Adam Schiff knew all about it. His declarations about seeing the, quote, evidence all make sense now. Remember this?
We have all of these facts in chronology. That is pretty damning, whether it is proof beyond a reasonable doubt of conspiracy or not.
There's plenty of evidence of collusion or conspiracy in plain sight.
We already do know what happened. The evidence of the president's misconduct is already overwhelming.
Well, there's clear evidence on the issue of collusion.
There is more than circumstantial evidence now. So, again, I think...
So you have seen direct evidence of collusion?
I don't want to go into specifics, but I will say that there is evidence that is not circumstantial.
That, to me, is direct evidence, but there's also...
Well, there you go. He talks about the evidence that he's seen. Well, we know that the Mueller report found no evidence of Russian collusion. They would have looked at all the evidence that he would have seen, Schiff there on your screen, except, of course, that he was looking at the Clinton evidence. That's my belief, anyway. All of those statements should serve as damning proof. The Clinton campaign was feeding Adam Schiff their bogus data through their illegal spying. He lays it all out. Adam Schiff's role in promoting the Russian collusion hoax needs to not only be investigated, but he needs to be upended. That man needs to be investigated inside out. If it turns out that he, as a sitting member of Congress, knew of the illegal Clinton paid-for data collection, Adam Schiff needs to be prosecuted then for conspiracy and even treason, because there is no doubt he played an active role in the real Democrat-led insurrection to overthrow a sitting president.
Donald J. Trump sacrificed our national security in an effort to cheat in the next election. And for that and his continued efforts to seek foreign interference in our elections, he must be impeached.
Folks, that's the floor of the House of Representatives, and he stood up there and lied to the American people to overthrow President Trump. How convenient, right? They use bogus data, illegally collected, to try to impeach a president of the opposite party. Look who else joined the bandwagon too, by the way. The former CIA director under Obama, John Brennan. The Clinton campaign's phony anti-Trump evidence also got peddled to Brennan's CIA. Did he know, as director of the CIA, that the hired Clinton guns, the IT firm that Clinton hired, did Brennan know about it? This firm was also paid to maintain dedicated servers at the White House, was in fact not only monitoring White House internet traffic, but this firm, according to Durham, also was passing the data off to Clinton-hired data mining technicians. So if John Brennan did know about all of this, then John Brennan is guilty in the conspiracy too. When you listen to John Brennan now, just like Adam Schiff, it sure sounds like he knew what was going on.
It was collusion in plain sight. Donald Trump at the end of July openly called on Russian intelligence to find Hillary Clinton's emails. That collusion, I think, is quite obvious and apparent. I know the Senate Intelligence Committee came out and said they found no direct evidence of criminal conspiracy, but that's not the Senate Intelligence Committee's remit. It is the FBI and a special counsel's team to do the criminal investigation.
That man's out on a political vendetta. He wanted his girl by hook or by crook. Talking about Hillary Clinton. And guess what comes out today? Joe Biden's campaign hired the same IT firm as Hillary Clinton for his campaign. The firm that is at the heart of the illegal spying allegations in the Durham court filings. So the next question is, what does Joe Biden know? My guess is a lot. You see, this scandal is what Hollywood movies are made of, and yet the mainstream media ignores it all. And when they do cover it, we get this garbage.
Reading through this stuff, reading through Durham's indictment seriously, I don't know
for hours
who wrote that because it was gobbledygook. There weren't dates. You sit there going, wait a second, did this happen?
Gobbledygook, he says. You know why he says that? Because he's too dense to understand how to read an intricate court filing. Remember, it has already been proven that the Clinton campaign peddled that phony Steele dossier, remember that, the Russian collusion at the heart of all of it, to the FBI. Clinton operatives channeled it to rogue agents inside the FBI and the CIA, agents fully willing to do Hillary Clinton's bidding. That's all been proven now. The Steele dossier led to the creation of secret and unjustified warrants. It was un-American. The Clinton-inspired insurrection ruined lives. And now we see they spied on a sitting president, too. It could be the crime of the century, right next to the media refusing to cover it all. Well, many of the lives ruined from this Clinton-inspired insurrection were Trump allies targeted for the sole reason of being Trump allies, like former Trump foreign policy advisor George Papadopoulos, who served 12 days in federal prison after being accused of making false statements about his contacts in the Mueller probe. He was pardoned by President Trump before he left office. Former Trump 2016 foreign policy advisor and Newsmax contributor George Papadopoulos joins us now. George, it's good to see you. What do you make of all of these revelations now as they start to come out?
Well, thanks a lot for having me, Grant. And what I really think, if you're Hillary Clinton, the Democratic Party, or their allies in the mainstream media, then panic is certainly beginning to settle in. Even before these new damning revelations by John Durham, Joe Biden's approval rating had hit a fresh low. And now you have this bizarre attempt to simply whitewash the last 4 years with the media not even covering it for 5 minutes. And what this showcases to me is that there was a tremendous collusion between not only the Democratic Party, but the Clinton campaign and likely the upper echelons of the Obama administration with the media to ascertain a falsehood that not only upended America for 4 years, but almost single-handedly destroyed a presidency. I can tell you, Grant, as somebody who was thrust into the fire of a coup attempt, what this was. There was simply no basis, factual basis, to launch an investigation, let alone to continue it. What we saw with Comey and Mueller was a masterclass in deception, disinformation, and an attempt to overthrow the will of the American people in 2016. And that's exactly why what we are now seeing after Mueller failed is Durham meticulously peeling back the onion of corruption for the world to see what not only I lived, the 2016 campaign lived, President Trump lived, and unfortunately the American people as a whole.
George, what do you think about the idea that you've got Adam Schiff, that you've got John Brennan, you've got others in the intelligence community, and possibly even, you mentioned the highest levels of the Obama administration, Joe Biden is right there as vice president. Is there a possibility that they all knew that this illegal spying was going on? And what would that mean if they did?
Look, simply based on the facts that there was an electronic break-in of a rival presidential campaign and hacking of the Oval Office, that alone clearly suggests that there was at least tacit approval or cooperation with the highest levels of the Obama administration. That's point one. Point two is when you have individuals like Sussman believing that he could easily open the door to Baker, who was a deputy counsel of the FBI, or going to the CIA to launch investigations into President Trump, not candidate Trump at the time, but President Trump, this showcases to me how comfortable individuals like Sussman were with the intelligence community, which were then feeding this disinformation to individuals like Adam Schiff and others to parrot on national media to confuse Americans to believe that their commander-in-chief was a Russian agent and was not a patriot who was the greatest president in modern American history, in my opinion. And these are the facts, and this is exactly why what John Durham is doing is the most important single-handed investigation, I believe, in this country right now.
I think they all need to be held accountable for this. And really, there's only been 3 people borderline held accountable for this. The other one that needs to be held accountable is Hillary Clinton. Before I let you go, nobody's asking Hillary Clinton questions.
The polls suggest that even Democrats now want Hillary Clinton to be questioned by John Durham regarding her potential involvement in this scandal. I think it's in the matter of national security to see what Hillary knew and when she knew it, and in the matter for Americans for transparency and for the future of this country, Hillary must be interviewed by John Durham, and we need to hear directly what she knew and when she knew it.
Yeah, you know, the bottom line is, George, as I listen to you talk, Hillary Clinton owes you an apology, and others as well. I doubt you'll ever get it, but I appreciate you coming on, my man. Thank you.
Thank you, Grant. Thanks so much.